controversy has come up over the recent executive order made by Barack Obama to remove gender signs off of bathrooms. And while a lot of people don't exactly approve of the way he did it, the people he's helping do need a change of policy. Because after a surge of gay rights legislations and endless discrimination, transgender people are pushing to get their voices heard too. First of all, what's the problem? Why do bathroom signs matter so much to transgender people? For one thing, approximately 700,000 Americans are transgender, and that is a conservative number because the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics and the Census refuse to do questions on their surveys about transgender people. So the actual surveys done by the William Institute don't reach as large of an audience as they do. Keep in mind, that's 700,000 people who could be harassed every time they go into the bathroom. They go into the male bathroom and they will be harassed. They go into the female bathroom and they can get harassed. That leads to a 40% more likely chance of them committing suicide, which is pretty harrowing considering that 41% of transgender people will try to commit suicide in their lifetime compared to a 5% national rate of suicide. And some of them just stop going out in public. They're just too embarrassed, they're just too ashamed to search for a bathroom. So they don't want people to see them, they don't want people to know. According to a 2014 analysis of the National Transgender Discrimination Survey, as well as a report from the National Coalition of Anti-Violence Programs, 90% of transgender people are discriminated at work. They're 6 times more likely to be assaulted by the police if they're a black transgender woman than if they're a white cisgender male. Cisgender meaning that they identify as the gender they were born with. And transgender people in general are 7 times more likely to be assaulted by the police. They're almost twice as likely to be sexually assaulted, including in a bathroom, and including women and children. They also are twice as likely to be unemployed, and twice as likely to make less than $10,000 a year. And in addition, 1 in 5 transgender people will face homelessness in their life. Also, according to the National Transgender Discrimination Survey, 50% of people who don't have support from their family when they come out as transgenders will commit suicide, or try to commit suicide, compared to a 41% average. So the solution? Barack Obama made an executive order to take signs off of bathrooms. And a lot of people are accusing him of an abuse of power in doing this because he threatens to cut the funding of schools who don't abide. But the thing is he's doing this because he knows it's important, not because he's abusing his power. He's made 168 executive orders in his 2 terms of office. That's less than any other contemporary president. Franklin Roosevelt, for instance, made 3,500 executive orders in his 4,400 days of office. That's almost 1 executive order a day. So you can see that this is important to him, and it's also important to, as I said, about 700,000 Americans. And it's really not that big of a deal because I doubt that a woman would be offended if one of these 2 ladies came into the bathroom with her. I doubt she'd even notice. Odds are you've been to the bathroom with a transgender person and you didn't notice either. And also, what if you're on the female basketball team and this guy wants to play with you? This guy, who is a transgender female to male, and is forced to play on the girls' basketball team, even though he looks like this. And according to the Journal of Psychiatric Research, who did a study on 18 transgender women to men, 24 cisgender women, and 19 cisgender men, their brains are different. So it's not like I can tell you that I'm a 70-year-old African American and I should be considered a 70-year-old African American. When they say that they are a woman or a male, they do have the brains of a woman or a male. You can see in the thickness of these regions of the brain that a female to male who is in red is closer to a female who is in green, a male who is in green than a female who is in black, because the bracket with the asterisk above it shows a large statistical difference. And there isn't a large statistical difference between the red and the green in any of them but the third one. And in the third one, it's still between a male and a female, proving that it doesn't have the same, that transgender people don't have the same brains as either. They're somewhere in the middle. The biggest argument by far is that men will use this as an excuse to assault women and children. But the thing is there are bathrooms and locker rooms all over the country and bathrooms all over Europe that already have male and female bathrooms in one room, or already have transgender bathrooms, and they have seen no increase in sexual violence. Because men will be men no matter what. And before this law was even made, there are men who went into women's bathrooms dressed up as females. They've always done it. They always will do it. It's not going to increase because of transgenders. In fact, 60% of transgender people have been assaulted in a bathroom. So this will actually lower the assault rate and raise public safety. And another thing, why now? Why now is it such a big deal for women to be assaulted in bathrooms when the sexual assault rate is already high all over the country? Why now are people making such a big fuss about it? It's like when black women weren't allowed into the bathroom because white women didn't want to get their venereal diseases. And it's like when gays were suddenly not allowed to get into the bathroom because they thought they were going to be pedophiles and they were going to stare at the little boys. It wasn't much of a problem, of course, until gay people wanted to go into the same bathroom as straight men. Separate bathrooms? Why don't we just have separate bathrooms for transgender people, and then no one else has to worry about it? Because separate but equal is inherently unequal. You can't separate them from the rest of society and sweep them under the rug like they're some dirty little secret. They're humans and they deserve to be treated as such. A solution that I personally agree with is that we have one bathroom with separate stalls for everybody so that they don't have to admit that they're transgender if they don't want to be harassed, and other people don't, how do I explain this? So that other people can't refuse the law. Because just because the signs are taken off the bathroom doesn't mean people won't separate them. Doing only one bathroom would be a solution to that. And what about the Pledge of Allegiance? It says liberty and justice for all. When I stand up and I put my hand over my heart and I recite the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag and to our country and to our military, I want to know that they're not sacrificing their lives and while American citizens are still not getting their rights. There are transgender people in the military and there are gay people in the military. What gives you the right to let them sacrifice their lives for you and then not stand up for their rights when you stop saying the pledge and when you turn away from the flag and when you live your everyday life? So whatever your feelings are towards transgender people, how can you say that doing them this one favor by loving them instead of hating them is wrong? How can you say that improving the lives of approximately 700,000 Americans is wrong? I hope, after listening to my speech,